تدخلون الجنة حتى تؤمنوا. You will not enter Jannah until you believe. ولا تؤمنوا حتى تحابوا. And you will not believe until you love one another. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Sibabul Muslim fusuq. Abusing a Muslim is wickedness. Wickedness. وَكِتَالُهُ كُفْرٌ. And fighting him or killing him is disbelief. If people start fighting with each other, they are committing kufr. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, بِحَسْبِ امْرٍ مِنَ الشَّرِّ أَنْ يَحْقِرَ أَخَاهُ الْمُسْلِمِ. It is enough evil that a Muslim should belittle his Muslim brother. It is enough evil that a Muslim should belittle look down upon his Muslim brother. كل المسلم على المسلم حرام ودمه وماله وإرضه. Everything belonging to a Muslim is sacred for another Muslim. His blood, his wealth, and his honor. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam then continued. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Al-Muslimu aqul Muslim, la yazlimuhu wa la yuslimuhu. A Muslim is a brother of a Muslim. He does not oppress him, nor does he fail him. That is, hand him over to the enemy. وَمَنْ كَانَ فِي حَاجَةِ أَخِيهِ كَانَ اللَّهُ فِي حَاجَتِهِ. Whoever attends to the need of his brother, Allah will attend to his need. وَمَنْ فَرَّجَ عَنْ مُسْلِمٍ قُرْبَةً فَرَّجَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ قُرْبَةً مِنْ قُرْبَاتِ يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. Whoever relieves the distress of a Muslim, Allah will remove one of his distresses on the day of resurrection. وَمَنْ سَتَرَ مُسْلِمًا سَتَرَ اللَّهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Whoever covers the faults of a Muslim, Allah will cover his faults on the day of resurrection. We often try to criticize others, expose others' faults. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam taught us to cover the faults of the fellow believers. Now, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's relationship or tolerance towards the non-Muslims. The best example of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's tolerance towards the non-Muslims was the constitution itself called Sahifa. When Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam migrated from Mecca to Medina, his role as a mere religious leader ended, and he was then if I use that way, a political leader of a state governed by the precepts of Islam, which demands that clear rules of governance be laid out to ensure to ensure harmony and peaceful coexistence of all religious groups, Muslims, Christians, Jews, Buddhists, and so on. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam detailed in the constitution, in Sahifa, the responsibilities of all parties and their mutual obligation towards each other. Now, the first article of the constitution mentions about being equal citizens and free citizens. All, according to the first article of the constitution, all inhabitants of Medina, the Muslims as well as those with whom Muslims had a pact, the Jews, the Christians, the polytheists and others were regarded as one nation to the exclusion of others. They were all regarded as full and free members of Medina society, and they are full citizens, and regardless of their religion, race and ancestry. The second article of the constitution was protection of the minority. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam stipulated that non-Muslims are to receive as much protection as the Muslims. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever kills a non-Muslim with whom the Muslims have a pact will not smell the fragrance of paradise. Rasul sallallahu, because the upper hand was on the Muslim, upper hand was with the Muslims, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ensured that there was no maltreatment of the non-Muslims. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam also said, whoever is cruel towards non-Muslims or curtail their rights or puts a burden on them beyond what they can bear or takes from them what is rightfully theirs, I, Muhammad, will complain against him on the day of resurrection. The third article is about the freedom of worship, freedom of religion. One article says that the Jews have their religion and the Muslims have theirs. All religious groups had the option to practice their faith without any hindrance. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam made it clear that no non-Muslim women can be married without her approval, and she should not be prevented from going to the church. Freedom to appoint own judges. The non-Muslims had the right to refer to their own religious men and religious scriptures in regard to their own affairs, as long as it did not defy the articles of the Constitution, which took into account the greater benefit of the peaceful coexistence of all religious groups. They had the non-Muslims had the option to appoint their own religious judges and their priests. They also had the option to refer matters to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The freedom to have religious schools and churches. Another article gave the right to religious schools and churches. In fact, the Jews of Medina had a religious school called Baitul Midras, where they used to gather for worship, for reading of the Torah and educating themselves. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam emphasized to his emissaries that all religious institutions needed to be protected. Another article of the Constitution is regarding the exemption. Non-Muslims were completely exempted from military service and given full protection. No Muslim can force non-Muslims to fight in the jihad. Muslims are to fight for them. So all these clauses of freedom, right to the protection of minority, freedom of worship, being full members of the society, freedom to appoint their own judges and priests, freedom to have religious schools and churches are matters that cover all important aspects of human rights. Now, the forgiveness of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The forgiveness of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the non-Muslims. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a mercy for all creation, all creatures. His mercy not only extended to the believers, but to the disbelievers as well. Some of whom spent all their lives trying to harm and harm Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and defeat his mission. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam never took personal revenge. He never took revenge for personal reasons. Always forgave his staunchest enemies. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he went to Taif, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and declared his prophethood. People jeered at him. And the leaders of the Taif ridiculed him. Some of them said, while ridiculing, Allah did not find anyone else for his message except you. Another leader said, I must be naive or a thief if I believed you. And they even sent a group of vagabonds and children to pester him and throw stones at him. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was tired and forsaken and was physically wounded by these stones, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam took shelter in a garden under a tree, and then he raised